Thanks for staying tuned. You are still watching iBrand Daybreak. Recently, the Lagos State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Gbenga Omotosho, announced plans by the Lagos State government to open the Lekki toll gates closed for over 18 months since the endsars massacre. Pegging the planned opening for April 1st, 2022, Mr. Omotosho said the operators of the facility had huge debts to pay. Mr. Omotosho also put the debts at 11.6 billion naira to local lenders and about $31.1 million to foreign lenders. He also announced that about 500 workers with families to feed had been affected by the closure. The decision to recommence tolling for the Lekki toll gate and Osborn-Ikoyi link bridge has continued to generate mixed reactions. The chairman of Omo Eko Pataki, Chief Olabode George, has described the move as cruel, insensitive, vicious, and unacceptable. It said, and I quote, "Barely 2 years when they mowed down innocent youths at the Lekki toll gate, when innocent youths, young men and women, shed their blood for the unity of this nation, some people have decided to bring back the toll gates. It is a bad, hasty decision at a very bad time." Now, joining us to discuss about this recent development is someone who played a prominent role during the endsars campaign. I'm sure you know him when I introduce him now. He's Ibrahim Akinwumi Adebanjo, also known as the Flag Boy. He's a flag influencer, the endsars flag bearer. He's also a dance performer, designer, public figure, and a living icon of the youth around Africa and the world. He's a scientist and an activist, popularly known for creatively flagging off events, brands and personalities, products and hashtags. He's also an art and science enthusiast. And as I said, he's known as the Flag Boy. He joins us right now. Flag Boy, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you. It's good to see you in a different regalia, you know, different from what we saw during the endsars, where you had to don your traditional or your trademark, you know, outfit and the flag and all of that. So let's start. How did activism come for you?
Activism came for me as a point of as a break point. It was at that point when it felt like nothing was working. So, and then I saw an opportunity for me to lend my voice, and that was what I did at the endsars protest. Then lending my voice led me to lending voice for so many people out there too. So that was how it all started.
Okay, let's look at it. You played a prominent role. I mean, the you know, bucket cap, the nose mask, the flag, and all of that. It was a trademark outfit, and for every of the endsars, you know, activity, regardless of the venue, you were there. We saw you on bridges and, you know, various buildings, waving the flag, trying to sensitize people to get PVCs or, you know, speaking out against police brutality. What inspired the outfit? I mean, yeah, part of it is what you're wearing now with the face mask and the bucket cap. Then beyond the outfits, why the flag? Oftentimes you have people come up with probably, you know, placards and what have you, but why did you choose the flag?
Okay, I chose the flag because that was the major point to get across to the people in question. I held the Nigerian flag initially because that was what we were talking about. Then when I got to the protest, I got to understand the people's demand. Everybody was saying endsars, endsars. I wasn't really in conversation with anybody when I got there. I got there the second day. So I was hearing endsars, so many people were talking about endsars, and then I just had to put it on the flag. So it was like endsars Nigeria. So that was how I came about the flag. So I put it up, and then everybody liked the idea, everybody liked the concept, and everybody was posting. They were using it as their own form of reaching to the public. So that was how it started. It just started going like that.
So let's dwell more a bit on the endsars. What was the major event that shaped that particular protest for you? What was the high point for you? Yes, we do know that we have record of people that were killed, that lost their lives, and even though we try to, I mean, after that we've seen effort of youth galvanizing themselves together, putting themselves together, holding the government accountable to account for what they did and all of that. But yes, it has passed over 18 months now. But since then, what was let me even start before we get to other issues after that. But what was the major high point for you for that, in lending your voice to that particular event?
Yeah, okay. Just like I said earlier, it was a breaking point for me. You know, that point when a an undergraduate from the university, or from a university in Nigeria, is about to finish school, and there's no opportunities out there, and then the next thing you are hearing that some police force are harassing people of my age, grade, and all that. It hasn't happened to me yet, but so many occasions have I been delayed by some police force around Lagos, just trying to check for what they won't find on me. So it's quite time exhausting, and most times I end up missing my interviews and all that. Sometimes I miss my job. All those things happen. So when I heard that there was an opportunity for people to come out and say what they want, how they feel about what's happening around the country, around the state, then I came out to, it was a breaking point, because I was seeing my future as, okay, dude, you will soon be done with school. What's up? What are you going to do? And we know that there are not much job opportunities out there. So
the question, okay, let me follow up with this question and maybe put it in another form.
Okay.
I was actually asking that, did your demand at endsars protest,
okay,
did it ring a bell? Did it push any demand home? Did you get your demand? Did you get what you wanted, the reason why you were part of that endsars? Did you eventually get that result, being part of that particular event?
Okay, I get now. There was a 5-point demand, which wasn't met, which hasn't been met up to date. We're supposed to end police brutality, end SARS, although people still say they still see SARS around somewhere. So the demands has most likely been neglected by the government. Even to top it all up, for them to chase everybody out of this demand, they had to kill a lot of people across the country so that people will stop asking for this. So it's like there's a particular set of people in the government that have just decided to say, okay, you know what, these people, we are not listening to them, and all these things are still up. Most of these issues have not been trashed, and people are devastated. People are not happy. People are not encouraged. So many families are still sad. So many families are still crying about what happened at the Lekki toll gate. So I'm not sure the demand was met. It wasn't met. Nobody's satisfied.
Okay, before we come to the issue of reopening the toll gate, in the tolling basically, let's look at the toll gate itself as a monument of resistance, protest, and what have you. That was a venue that gave the Nigerian people, or the youths, if you want to call them that, their voice. And as I said, you were one of the prominent faces of that movement. Now, do you think that movement ends with endsars? That's one, in terms of endsars, or it's a movement that can transcend into other times and spheres of the polity? That's one. Then two, when that monument itself, the toll gate, what's your take about it in terms of probably when you're passing through? What does it remind you of? What does it signify in that sense?
Okay, that toll gate particularly, what happened there is like an aftermath of war. People were there just peacefully protesting and carrying out a patriotic duty, but then the government retaliated by killing a lot of us. About opening the toll gates now is just like someone that have said, is quite insensitive, because people are still mourning their people that was lost at the toll gate. Then I don't think that that place should be opened for commercial purposes yet, because to start with, the reason why people were killed there hasn't even been attended to. And then you killed somebody, not even somebody, killed a lot of people, and then you still want to come and continue your business as if nothing happened. I'm not sure it's a good decision to make, and I'm not sure the people using that road is going to allow that to happen. So many people that use that road lost their families at that toll gate. So you don't expect such person to come and pay to use that place again.
Okay, let me just follow this up. As much as the Nigerian people have said there were killings on the night, the government has also rebuffed that, but they did not deny that there were shootings on that particular night. What they've denied is the number of people who died, or if there were even any dead people. But that's even another story for another day. Let's look at it. You just brought up a very sensitive issue, that those who ply that road will not want to pay because they probably have family members or loved ones as victims, either in terms of shootings or killings or what have you. Now, if the government, which has the power, the tools and the resources, is saying they will begin tolling by April 1st, which is just about 9 days away, or 10 days precisely, and you now have the people who power should rest with also saying they will not pay, don't you think that would generate some tensions and probably bring back some sort of protest once again?
Yes, it will, because that is an alteration to our democratic rights. When the people is saying no and the government is enforcing yes, it's definitely going to bring a conflict within the people and the government. So I really don't think the government should go for reopening that toll gate yet. Even if they are going to open it, I don't think this is the right time. People are still mourning. This administration hasn't ended yet, and it is within this administration that incident took place. So we should be very, very calculative and sensitive about what we do, most especially around that toll gate, because many people are still angry, even if the government puts 100 soldiers at that toll gate. The people around there, if they don't want that toll gate there, they will still take it down.
So are you saying they're going to come up
with another protest?
I'm very sure people will protest, because if they don't want it, Nigeria has changed now. It has gone from the time that people suffer in silence. So many people out there are ready to give their life for them to get what they want. So I'm sure that there are so many resilient people out there that wouldn't want that to happen. It happened the last time at February 13th, 2021, when the hashtag Occupy Lekki. I wasn't in Lagos, but I followed up everything that was happening. And no matter how the government tried to make the people want to accept to the reopening of the Lekki toll gate, some people are still ready to come out and say, no, we don't want this.
And you don't think any protests in that regard, in terms of reopening, would bring about a show of force? We saw that during the 1-year commemoration. You were there, I was there as well, I saw you, and there was the show of force, not just in terms of vehicular power from the police force or the number of personnel on ground. At some point, tear gas canisters were shot into the air to disperse the crowd. So even if the people are trying to protest again, don't you think there could be one or two, maybe victims or what have you, if the police force decides a show of force to disperse them?
The government will always try to demonstrate, and the people with power will always try to show their power. Well, but then we also know that the power of the people is their voice. So I'm not sure the people is going to let that be taken away from them. The people don't have guns. The people don't have weapons to fight with. We might say that we have thugs amongst the people, and we all know that this is a collateral damage. It's a result of what the government and the people has built so far. So we will see people that will still hold on to their voice as their only weapon to get a better life.
Just because of that time, let me ask you these questions before we allow you to go. One, have you been threatened? Because we understand that part of, or people are part of that protest.
Were victimized?
I mean, we're victimized and threatened. Have you been threatened? Anyone's? Secondly, has the protest, endsars, has it ended, or it is something that is going to transform or translate into another phase of activism against government, poor governance and all of that?
Okay, let me start with the endsars. The endsars is a movement that has come to stay. No matter, whenever we see any form of police brutality, the first thing that is going to come to somebody's mind is, this is SARS. And that's endsars that has been a very big movement across the world that has been recognized, is like the only point of refuge for so many people. So what they will just say is endsars, and it's more than a political movement. It's like a personal form of refuge. If someone shouts endsars on the road, you see a lot of people that will come out and say, what's happening at this SARS? And we see so many people, so many of us trying to be our brother's keeper now. Since the Lekki shooting, we now know that we have to protect ourselves, because like we saw at the Lekki night when the shooting happened, we saw so many people trying to help the wounded ones, and see people carrying. So the endsars movement, I'm not sure it's ever going to be something that is going to be swept under the carpet.
Okay.
It's just going to be like a form of
resistance.
Yes, a form of resistance,
Okay.
and also a reminder that we are in a very tough country.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time on the show. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming.